Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Death Alley. And this is from writer-director Nicholas Barton. This is a new Western focusing on the Dalton Gang. And two main feelings about this film, major takeaways. So first things first, this felt like a CMT original Western. And that sounds weird. And why I say that is, one, it looks like a made-for-TV movie. The camera work, the quality of it, it looks like this is supposed to be popping off on some cable network somewhere for an original film. And the modern country music that is so anachronistically just plopped at certain points in this film, I'm like, are they trying to connect this to like modern country music? And like both those reasons are why I'm like, oh, this feels like this would have been perfect on CMT. And that is a strange thought, and it kept running through my head the whole time I was watching this film. And another big thing about this film is how they structured the narrative was, I felt, unnecessary. You start this film and you end this film with a lot of text telling you about misconceptions about the Old West and bank robbery and stuff like that. Then you have this marshal in like 1931 or something, like narrating, talking, whatever. And then you cut back to like, I don't know, the funeral of this big gang member, one of the Daltons. And then you cut back again to 1892 and then bam, there's the film. And I'm like, not since I watched like Grand Budapest Hotel, which is like a girl reading a book being narrated by the adult, like the older version of the author, who's then talking about his younger self, who is then telling the story of how he talked to this hotel owner and how he went through all the events of Grand Budapest. Except that felt interesting and zany and fun, and how it was edited. Here, I'm just like, wait a minute, how many more times are we going to go back into the past here? It just felt clunky and was a strange choice, because I felt like this film could have just been like, drop you in 1892 and do the film. And because like this isn't a long film, it's like an hour and 39 minutes, but I felt like you could have even cut off like 10 minutes of that and just like focused on the story. Now the story is your standard Western affair. It's well shot, it's put together, you know, well enough. There's some really cringy moments, like there's a stupid running gag of like a guy runs in, it's like, they're the Dalton Gang's robbing the two banks, and everybody's like, wah! And then another guy comes like, those Dalton boys are robbing both banks, and they're like, well, shucks. And I'm just like, is this Bonanza or something? Like this, you know what, even better, it felt like the Woody's Roundup level of corniness, and you have like Stinky Pete, and I'm just like, this completely took me out of the film here. And then every time they did like like getting a ready montage for this big climactic heist that like takes up half the movie, that with this obnoxious modern country music thrown into this Western that takes place in 1892. And like something like, and this film doesn't have that feel of like a, I don't know, like Young Guns, where you can have like Bon Jovi playing because like it's a campy kind of thing. This isn't like The Quick and the Dead, a Sam Raimi Western. Like this feels like it's going for the same kind of feeling as like True Grit, of like Coen Brothers' True Grit, which like has an amazing score from Carter Burwell that just feels it and embodies this era. And this just feels so distracting and weird. Once you actually get into the narrative and this heist, I think it works fine. There's a lot of distracting things here, though. And in the end, I felt like this was a lot of wasted potential. But like, if you're a huge Western fan and you like the robbers and the bank robbery, stuff like that, I think this film does those things well enough that you can get some enjoyment if you're really into the genre. But I don't think this is going to get any new recruits for the Western genre. It actually is probably going to push people away and be like, this was stupid. This is absurd, why they do this, kind of pushing away. And that's disappointing. As a huge fan of Westerns, I hope to see more films that grab audiences and hopefully they go catch other Westerns. I don't think this kind of film is going to do that. So maybe if you are a huge fan of Westerns, you might get some enjoyment out of this. But overall, I thought it was a bit messy and didn't really do justice to this interesting and intriguing story that it had to work with. So recommend for like diehard Western fans. Others, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot out of this. But those are my thoughts on Death Alley. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.